Hello again, I am Tom and this is Real Six String. Today's lesson we're going to be working on quarter beat rhythms, how to understand them, and of course how to use them. If you haven't seen my lesson on half beat rhythms, it's well worth checking out if you're not familiar with them, and it's a great starting place before you get here. With our quarter beat rhythms, we're going to be covering what they look like, how to read them, and of course how to translate them into strumming patterns. We're going to be using the song Knocking on Heaven's Door in order to understand them, which has a few really simple chords and a really common strumming pattern which will come up time and time again, so it's well worth learning, and especially learning how to understand it. The first part of our lesson is just to understand the chord we're going to be working with. We're going to be using the chord G for this whole lesson, and I recommend you use the one that we've worked on in the Good Riddance video with the 2 fingers on the bottom 2 strings, as it's a lot easier to move to the D. The next part of the lesson is just to understand what they look like. So they're called semiquavers. They're the next step down from the quavers that we were working on previously, and we now have 4 of them per beat. So we can count these ones. As before, we had every beat being our down strum and every and being our up strum. What we now have is the exact same strumming, we just have twice as many options. So we're going to count this one, which is 1 E and A, all the way through. So now all of our beats, which are our numbers, and all of our ands are going to be our down strums, and the E's and the A's are going to be up. For our first example, we're just going to play all of the beats and nothing else. So the easiest way to see how to get started with quarter beat rhythms is just to have our focus on all of the beats and all of our ands. So if we're using our G, we're gonna strum each of our beats, and we're gonna bob our arm and miss the strings. So we're gonna still keep this strumming pattern going, much as we have for all our other strumming patterns, but now what we're going to do is just miss the strings on all of the ands. It's a really important tool as it turns your strumming arm into your metronome and it keeps everything in time and it keeps everything smooth as you move forward. Twice round on that example, we're going to have 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. For all of these, try and keep your strumming arm nice and relaxed and nice and smooth. The tenser you get and the more you start throwing in order to try and get those strums in there, the tenser you're going to get, and then the less the timing is going to suit, and it's going to end up really brash and quite horrible. For example 2, what we're going to be using, we're still going to have the focus on the beats 1 and the ands, which is going to be our down strums, but now for beat 3, we're just going to have a down, up, down as we do it. So it's going to be 3 E and. Okay, and then the or the A is just going to be a missed up strum before we hit beat 4. So to show you just that bit first, because the beats 1 and 2 are exactly the same as what we've practiced, it's going to be 3 E and 4. Okay, so it's important if you're having any trouble that you spend time breaking down your examples and taking it at your own pace. So to have that one twice through as well, we're going to have 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 and. Excellent. So take it at your own pace and then we'll move on. The next step of our second example, what we're going to be doing is adding in the and that comes after beat 1. So it's just, we're going to be using that same strum that we've been missing this whole time. We're going to start using it. So to hear that one twice through, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, E, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, E, and 4, and. Excellent. Feel free to take as much time in between examples as you need. If you need to pause it, you need to work on it a bit on your own, you've got the diagrams, you feel free to take your time. For the final part of this example, I'm going to change it to down strums, up strums, and then misses for where our gaps are, in order to make a bit more sense of this slightly more offbeat addition. So all we're going to do is add an up strum on the A before beat 3. To hear it through, we're just going to have 3, 4, down, 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 miss, down, up, down, down, miss, down, 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 miss, up, down, down, miss. Okay, so if it helps you to see it as down strums and up strums, you can just relax your arm and take it as slow as you need to make sure that you've got your 1, E, and 2, E, and and all it translates into is down, up, down, up. Our next example is going to be the first part of the strumming pattern of Knocking on Heaven's Door, but it's also the strumming pattern for a lot of different songs, so it's going to come in handy as we move forward. For this one, we just have 1, miss, 2, and we're going to repeat that a couple of times. So if you need to break that down into down, miss, down, down, up, that's perfectly fine. And if you need to break it down to just the 1, miss, 2, that's perfectly fine. But I'll give a slow example before we move on. We're going to have 3, 4, 1, and 2, and okay. Or we can have 3, 4, down, miss, down, down, up. Okay, so that is the entire strumming pattern for the first bit. But as that's only half a bar, we're going to repeat it a second time. And exactly as we've covered before, the A at the end, or that up strum right at the end, is the up strum right before the next one comes down. And that happens on both. So after beat 2, that and 3 happens straight away. And at the end of beat 4, we've got and 1. So it happens straight away. Okay, so the example, playing it a couple of times over, we're just going to be doing 2 bars in a row. 3, 4, 1, miss, 2, and 3, miss, 4, and down, miss, down, down, up, down, miss, down, down, up. Perfect. For the next example, we're going to be doing the second part of the strumming pattern from Knocking on Heaven's Door. So for this one, I strongly recommend that you break it down and start adding it 1 strum at a time for the most part. So it's up to you for the other ones. If you can break it down to the level that you feel is necessary. But for this next one, it's a little bit more offbeat to start with. So I very strongly recommend that you break it down a little bit more. Okay, so for this one, the first half of it is exactly what we've just practiced. We're going to have that down, miss, down, down, up. But then the next one we're going to have on the end is the next up strum. So in this bar, you miss beat 3, which is why it can be a little bit tricky now that we've practiced the order of strumming, practiced missing on the ands. We've now got to miss on the 3 and hit that up strum. So this is again where I find it a lot easier if you translate it into down and ups and misses, rather than seeing it as all of the 1E anders, as handy as that is to be able to count it. Okay, so for this one, let's get practicing. We're going to do exactly what we've just done, except we're going to add an extra up strum on the end. Okay, so we've got 3, 4, down, miss, down, down, up. Okay, so run over it as many times as you need in order to get it right. And then the next one we want to add on is the down that follows that one. And that one's going to sound 3, 4, down, miss, down, down, up, down. So it can be a little bit tricky trying to orientate that, but it's really important that you run over it as many times as you need until it starts to feel natural. If you keep rushing through to the end, you'll get to the end, play it through slowly, try and speed it up, and you'll have forgotten all the middle bits. So it's well worth spending a little bit extra time on, and before you know it, your strumming arm will be taking over and it will make everything a lot simpler to work with. And once you're happy with all of that, we're going to add on a down, up onto the end. So it means beat 4 is just 4E ander, or down, up, down, up. Okay, so when you're comfortable, we've got 3, 4, down, miss, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. There's an optional extra strum there on the and after 1. So you can always see it as 3, 4, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down. And all that's left with that is just to put it all together. So let's run it over twice now with both strumming patterns. So we're going to do the first one, then the second one, and we're going to do it twice over just to make sure that we've got it all together. We're going to have 3, 4, down, miss, down, down, up, down, miss, down, down, up, down, miss, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, miss, down, down, up, down, miss, down, down, up, down, miss, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. Try and make sure that you're learning them properly, rather than taking shortcuts out of laziness. So once you understand it, and once you've worked on the ones as they are, you can then start to embellish any way you want. So any artist writing these songs that you're trying to learn isn't necessarily going to play them in exactly the same way every time. There's going to be a lot of changes and there's a lot of options. So it means rather than playing your same you might well have something that sounds quite different. You can hit a lot of extra strums, you can hit a lot less. As long as the timing of it stays the same, it's still going to work. finally, to give you something to practice over and something to put it all into context and make it sound a little bit more musical, we're going to learn the chords for Knocking on Heaven's Door. So it's all things that we've done previously. What we're going to have is our G chord, moving to our D chord. But the important thing there, just to reiterate, is that you don't need to move your third finger. If you're playing the G with both fingers on the bottom two strings, as you move, you don't need to move that finger in order to get to the D. And in doing that, it makes the whole thing a lot smoother and means that you've got a finger to anchor yourself on as you move between chords, whereas if you take all of them off, it takes a lot longer to change between them. Okay? And then we've got an A minor after that, so it's G, D, A minor, and then G, D, C. And that is the entire song. You repeat those chords over the strumming pattern we've done, and that's everything you need. For the structure, we have G and D share the first bar, which is just going to mean that beats 1 and 2 are on G and beats 3 and 4 are on D. So it means the down, miss, down, down, up on each chord. So that's going to be down, miss, down, down, up. And then we've got to change quite quickly to the D. Although if you're practicing it, take all the time you need and make sure you don't move that third finger. And then your muscle memory will take over and make everything a lot easier. And then we do the same exact strumming pattern on D, except it's beats 3 and 4. So that's down, miss, down, down, up. And then on the second strumming pattern, we have the A minor or the C, depending on which time round we're going. So the first time we've got the A minor and we do the whole second strumming pattern. And then on the next chord progression, we have exactly the same, but it's on a C. And that's just going to be down, miss, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Okay, and then you'd go around it one more time, do the G and D sharing a bar, and then do the C. And that repeats over and over again for the entire song. And that is the whole lesson. So make sure you check out the practice at the end. As soon as you're ready, there's going to be a slow run through of both of those a couple times over, just to give you something to follow along and practice with and make sure that you're getting your timing right. And other than that, I've had a great time making the video, so if you can, please leave a like, please subscribe. There's plenty other videos to check out, and there'll be plenty more coming in the future. So have a great time practicing it, best of luck with the song, and I'll speak to you in the next one.